Avermedia. Okay, all these sound device stuff seems fine. I haven't played a Mario Tennis game since the Nintendo 64 one. And I only am playing this one because I got it through GameFly. So once I'm done with this, I'll probably send it back. But yeah, this game is I don't know. It's alright. It's weird. So like, oh no, a software update's required. I guess we're not playing online. Oh, apparently this Con Cup thing is its own thing. Apparently I haven't played this game enough. We'll play as Waluigi. So like, it's weird because like when I think of like Mario sports games and stuff, I typically think of stuff that's like a bit more hectic and chaotic in a way, like through like items and things. There's definitely like stage hazards and stuff in this game. But it's very much like, we're just gonna skip all this garbage. It's very much just like a very strategic tennis game, and not in a realistic way. That was very easy. Probably for playing Mushroom Cup. We're probably just gonna blow through this in a way that's gonna be very interesting to watch, but nice CPU being great. But there's really only one special hit in this whole game. It's this like zone shot thing, and you can like slow down time and hit the ball. And then you also have like another like fully charged special that's basically the same thing. There's some different properties about it, but every character essentially has the exact same special. Maybe it's good to start with an easy thing like this so I can better explain it as we go. But like, it's just very safe in a way. Or maybe not safe, but like very subdued in a way I wouldn't really expect a Mario sports game to be, I feel like. But I haven't played Mario sports games in a long time. So basically you have like 4 different shots. You have like this power shot, that is just like a normal shot basically. And if you fully charge it, it gets on fire like that. Although I think all the shots eventually could be fully charged. I'm going to go ahead and use my special. So you can see in the top left corner, my energy bar is full. So basically, everyone has their own unique animation, but the result is the same. You get this little thing here. And, oh no, out of bounds. The reason I shot it at her is because this game actually has like a life meter for rackets. And then, so like when you use that zone shot, you can actually damage the opponent's rackets, and when you use like your full special, it will blow up the racket in one hit essentially. I'm just gonna skip through all this text. But your zone shot, which is like that slowdown, shares the same energy as the special. So if you are using your zone shot, like the normal one, you are burning energy that would eventually add up to be like used for your fully charged special. So I honestly, the fact of the matter is they're so similar that it really doesn't feel like it matters. This game's also super forgiving in terms of like where the ball goes. Like I can hold the controller over as far as possible to the left here, and it still is in. Like they very rarely let you actually hit the ball outside of the court in a way that's like, oh, you messed up and like didn't hit it in the appropriate square before you did anything. Anyways, so getting back to these shot types, like there's the power shot, and then there's like this thing that's like a I forget what it's called. It's like a flat shot or what, but it's basically like a really fast shot. And then you also have like a curveball shot, which is one Boo just did. Kind of. He did something different, but I'll talk about that in a second. So you can do like a curveball shot. With Waluigi, you don't really notice it much. But with like Boo, who's like a trick character, he can really curve the ball around. We'll see if he ends up doing it again. But you can see just like even on his normal shot, there's a very distinct curve about it that the other characters don't have. And then the last shot type of the basic shot types is the lobbing. So you can actually lob it up in the air like that, or you can lob it down the ground. And so you just basically use a combination of those to defeat opponents, and you know that's the fairly standard tennis part of it. One thing you might have noticed, like the little stars on the field, those are required to do the zone shots. Like basically, a character needs to pop the ball up in the air long enough that it can be launched with the zone shot. It's very forgiving though. The star appears more frequently than not, I feel like. And then so one thing you probably have saw with the other characters on the other side of the court is that they actually do like a little like side movement sometimes. So like let me see if I can do it here. Like if they hit the ball off to the side, let me see if I can get it away. You can do like this little slow down kind of thing that also uses like your zone energy in the top left corner there. And that shot basically lets you get really hard to get shots typically. Because like, oh, it's like, oh, I missed the ball, but then I can do this. You know, it's basically just like a extra oomph if you're like, oh, I'm on the other side of the court and they knocked the ball to the right. And it's like, well, I can just like dance my way over there with Waluigi. Everyone has their own like special animations, but the behavior is largely the same outside of just the general ball curvature and things like that, and the power of the shot, things like that. It is pretty, I don't want to say it's tight timing, but it is pretty easy to miss the timings too. Also, you can do it with using the right analog stick, but you can also do it by like double tapping the lob button and putting directions. So sometimes you'll be like trying to lob the ball and then you'll accidentally like dance up front like that. And that time I made it work out, but it's just not very I kind of wish you could turn that off. You might be able to, honestly. I wonder if you could. Oops. Whoops. I was trying to see if I could pause the game. Oh. So Luigi just used the zone shot. And so another kind of thing to show about the zone shot feature is like at any time, even without the star, you can actually like slow down time. Although I just accidentally did that. But you can slow down time, and it's useful for when the opponent uses a zone shot. Because if you perfectly block it, your racket won't take any damage. So you can really slow down time and make sure you perfectly hit it. So yeah, it's really just about managing that pool of energy. Trying to get the maximum number of charges. So like the more you charge your shot, the more energy you get for it, basically. And it's also the more powerful the shot is. But you can see in the top left, if you charge up your shot enough, it'll say, hey, you did a charge shot. And then a maximum charge shot. But that's kind of it. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else. But mechanically, those are kind of the foundations of this game. It's very forgiving from a traditional tennis sense. But, you know, at the same time, you have these, like, more extreme moves and stuff. So it's more about the timing and, like, you know, abusing the space by your character. When I started this game, and we'll look at it here once this tournament's over. Oh, okay, we're gonna slow it down. I didn't get it. And we'll show you, like, basically there's like an adventure mode of this game that really builds up to like showing you how to use each of the charge shots, which is nice. The adventure mode isn't particularly amazing, but it's a good tutorial. It's probably what's best about it. I also have no idea how the scoring works, but I don't remember enough about tennis as is, so. Break that racket. If the racket breaks, there's not a lot they can do. It counts as a point, and it like destroys their racket. And you can see the number of rackets they have in the top right corner. So he only had one left. So if I do a full charge, nope. We'll see if we can KO them, because like basically no matter what the score is, if you break all their rackets, it's over for them. So you could be at the very end with no points, but as long as you have gone out of your way to break the racket, then you're good. Boing. So I'll just see if we can do some normal back and forths here. Break his racket. Of course, that also means that if he blocks it, then I've wasted all my energy. But we'll see. But it's a good thing to, like, hey, you can use the zone shot to kind of, like, you know, sneak your way around an enemy because it's so fast, and then you, like, have to slow down. You have to really worry about the timing. But then you also can aim directly at the opponent, and use that as a part of your advantage. So there's actually times where, like, you might purposely try to miss the ball if somebody's using a special shot, because if you're not confident you can block it properly, then you know, you're wasting a racket. And online online tournament you only have 2 rackets, so if one breaks, then you're kind of screwed. So the single player has this whole, like, world map thing. It's pretty straightforward. There's a couple of, like, optional things you can do, like for example, I was going down this forest and the main paths go forward and you can go left and you can, like, unlock a new racket. As far as I can tell, the rackets really don't have that much of a difference between them. But let's see. Let's do this one. This is a pretty early one. And most of them are pretty much, you have, like, your more standard tennis matches, and then you have stuff like this where it's like, hey, use your shot types to kind of, you know, reflect these balls back in a way that will kill these piranha plants and knock them down and stuff. So you just gotta basically use your different shot types to your advantage. And it teaches you a lot about, like, the positioning on the ow. I was gonna try, I don't know why I did that like that. It just teaches you a lot about the positioning of, you know, hitting things, basically. That guy. And, like, what the best options are for hitting specific areas. But the fact of the matter is, at the same time, like, even though you're learning that stuff, what you're looking for when you're aiming these is like the angle and stuff of, like, where they exist is, like, so different from, like, where a standard player would be. Sometimes it's a little hard to incorporate that over to, like, what's it called? Kind of the goal of this is you have, like, a timer in the top right corner, and every time you take a hit, you have to it reduces your timer by 5. So you gotta be careful about this stuff. Same thing if you, like, waste a bracket, and depending on the match type or the level, you'll have different different penalties. Whoops. So let me finish this one off. Here, easy enough. So you have to worry about dodging and then also, like, properly blocking things. It's a little bit different. And there's actually some neat stuff. I'll show you one of the boss fights here in a second. I'm trying to think of what would a good one be. I think the ice one might be a fun one to show off. And then on the way there, I can show you the one of the special stages or whatever. Oops, come on. There is, like, an RPG mechanic to this game where you, like, level up. I didn't really notice anything other than just the numbers were technically going up. Maybe it you know, maybe it matters. I don't know, but it doesn't seem to. Actually, I'm going to go to a different one, different boat match, because that one's a little easy. I want it's a little tougher. So we may go to the boss first. We'll see. We'll see where we end up. Here's a train. Yeah, we'll go to the boss first. But it's like a bunch of different worlds and environments here. And each place has their own like special setup. Maybe actually let's go down here and fight the shy guy. This one's a little interesting. Down here. Come on, down. Nope, down. There we go. Okay, I think it's this one. Yeah. So this one, instead, the one I was going to show you was like a boat that has like a pole in the middle, which is kind of interesting because you can reflect the shots off the pole. And I should skip this cutscene. The cutscenes are pretty useless. You know, they're not particularly good or charming in any way. Is this the one I want to do? I don't know. Whoops. This one I need to basically keep him from hitting these things, but I think this is actually not the one I wanted to go to. So we're actually gonna leave. We might just go do the ice boss and then we'll show you the level in free play. But each level can have its own gimmicks. Like on that one, there's like characters that will run across the court and stuff. But I think in that one it's pretty boring. Most of the adventure mode areas are basically like challenges in a lot of ways. Either bosses or like, you know, sending a ball back and forth between you and the CPU player, or like trying to keep a ball away from someone who's like, oh, they can't return 3 or more of your balls or else you fail. We're gonna skip this cutscene. So Mario 64 guy. You probably remember this guy. Although I seem to recall him having... Oh, there he is. There are the eyes. I don't remember if in Mario 64 if they're on the backs or the palms. Oof. Oof. I did get my racket damaged, but that's okay. So really what you have to do with these ones is just volley it, and then the boss will eventually not be able to volley, and then you have to basically come in here, do something like that. And then I screwed up. And then hit a weak point. And this is most of the boss structure. And then after you do that, they basically do some sort of attack pattern here. So in this case, they send these little ice things around, and you want to dodge them. Because you have those trick shots, there's actually kind of like a... I don't know if platforming is the right word, but you can jump around a little bit. So like at this part, you have to jump over. Although I just messed that up pretty bad. And you get a bonus to your energy if you jump over correctly. Oh wow, that was pretty quick. But yeah, again, you don't have health. It's just that top right thing. I mean, the only health you have is really your racket. I should be slowing down time to hit those balls though, because I'm missing a ton of them. This one in particular is kind of a large area compared to a lot of the other ones. I messed up. So it's actually probably one of the tougher fights I feel like in this game. Ooh, too early. Jeez. And then you have this other like piece coming around. Even like I would say this is actually maybe harder than the last boss fight of the game. Not that this is particularly hard. No element of this game is particularly hard for the most part, but every boss has 3 hits. Pretty standard Mario stuff. Coming in here at 150 seconds is pretty good timing, I feel like. But it's nice that they use like the trick shot method here as like a different thing, like repurposing it. I wouldn't be surprised if you like were playing this, if you didn't particularly realize you could do this, if you weren't super familiar with the trick shot system, where you can like go around. Oh, so let's go ahead and do this. I actually don't know if doing the special attack does anything here. It probably just volleys it back, I have to assume. Yeah, he blocks it automatically. Ooh. And pretty easy. You do have to be kind of quick about that like hit because you have like a certain percentage of time. or like the more you sit there and try to aim, the more it drains your energy. Yay! And then that's a story thing. We get basically something called like a power stone. You collect all of them, and then it ends with like a tournament. It's pretty short. It's maybe like 3 to 5 hours. Depends on how much you try to do some of the missions. I think you could probably beat it under 3 hours if you basically blew through everything pretty quick. And again, there's no real RPG-ness to it. So we'll go to the boat one over here. I think the boat one might be my favorite. It's pretty simple, but there's actually quite a bit to it. Let me see if this is the right one. Is it a blooper? Yeah. I feel like I had some trouble with this blooper before. So so this one's pretty straightforward, but there's just that pole in the middle. And because that pole is there, you can kind of do some interesting things with hitting the ball like off of the pole itself. The issue is that then that opens up a lot of like opportunities for you to hit the ball in a way that is not legal. So, because the game is pretty good at auto-correcting your ball as best as possible to make sure you don't go out of the field, but at some point all hands are off in terms of, yeah, so like you can bounce it off that, and thankfully the stars give you like some indicator if it's gonna hit somewhere, but it's not always clear. Ooh. I haven't tried bouncing a zone shot off of it. I think that might be kind of interesting. The tournament play is all normal courts, though. Like, you do come to these different courts, but they're all vanilla in presentation, or in terms of the layout. I don't think you can do stuff like that, like bouncing the ball off the pole for... Oh, I did it. In terms of the, what's it called? Nice. I think lobbing is probably one of my favorite ways to score. But yeah, there's a lot to this game. Oh, let's see. There's a lot to this game. It's just kind of straightforward in a way I don't feel like you would think Mario typically is. But again, I haven't been playing these tennis games, so maybe this is how they've been for a while, and I just wasn't aware that this is how they are. I feel like the golf games had some interesting stuff in it, but again, I haven't played those since the 64 one, so Mario sports games just kind of fell off my radar at some point. I always wanted to play Mario Strikers, but I never ended up doing that, so someday, one day maybe. Nice. That was probably a bad idea. Ooh. Oh, oh. If you do a trick shot, you're pretty screwed if you did it on accident. Or if you go the wrong way. That's kind of the one bad thing about using the analog stick, is that it is possible to, like, Ooh, okay. Ooh. It is possible to see, like, something like that is, like, really neat on this stage, and because it's like such a thin, small thing on here, it feels nice, and I feel like there's a lot of strategy in bouncing it off. Other ones are a bit more random in terms of like just having characters run through the tennis court, or like things shooting fireballs, or Piranha Pants like eating the ball and shooting them out at random directions. There's one that's kind of nice where it's like you have a snow all over the ground, and then as you walk in like the snow long enough, it actually reveals ice. So like the more you go around an area, a single area, the more ice it exposes, so it's more slippery. But all that stuff is pretty much offline. I tried doing free play online once, and I didn't find anyone. So I don't know if the community is kind of small for this game. I would think it's big. It's a Mario sports game on a popular Nintendo system. We'll see if we can beat this one round, but we won't stick around here too much longer. There's like a ranking online too with like a score, but I really don't know. I don't really know what there is to do after you beat the adventure mode. Again, it's pretty short, so like I feel like once you get past that 3 mark, you really have to be into the mechanic, or the 3-hour mark of like playing through the adventure mode. You really have to be into the mechanics of the game itself. If you aren't, then I don't know if you'll really get. Oh boy, I don't know if you'll really get much out of this. It's definitely not a bad game, but I don't know. It feels thin in a way in terms of content. Oops, that's the wrong button. I guess I can't pause in this, which seems really silly. Can I not back out of this? Let me see if I can back out. There we go. Apparently you just can't pause during the game itself, maybe to prevent you from like pausing and looking at where a ball is going and then using a trick shot. Timing it that way or something. Cheesing the game. Let's go and back out of this. So it looks like there might be some tournament stuff there that I might go with, like versus com. The online tournaments I just kind of, you know, play through. I haven't beaten an online tournament yet, so maybe there's something special, but I probably won't bother. I guess the last thing I'll show. Let me look at the free play here real quick. Okay. I guess the last thing I'll show is swing play. So if you like Wii Tennis, you might be like, "Oh, this is for me." Basically, it's just the motion controls. So let me go ahead. It's gonna. I'm glad it doesn't try to sit there and like detect if you have the wrist strap on, because I don't want to go get mine. So you really have a few different modes. You have regular ball, big ball, which is like a big bouncy ball, and then rally challenge, which I think is just back and forth. We'll just do regular ball. And you just take one Joy-Con and you just play with one Joy-Con. We'll play Speedy. And hey, and you just take the Joy-Con. Hey Anthony, how's it going? And your character kind of like automatically moves. And there's something like I always wanted out of Wii Sports where you could like kind of auto move your character a little bit with the analog stick. But I don't know. This, let me see. So the whole thing about this is like timing your hits. But I don't know. It doesn't feel particularly good or responsive. It feels like replacing the button press rather than like it's not one-to-one kind of like a Wii Sports kind of thing. Where you're like, you know, well, I guess Wii Sports wasn't one-to-one either, really. Let's just talk about like Wii Sports Resort. But I think it did feel responsive in a way that was good. This doesn't so much. I don't know. It's just not. It's not a great way to play this game, I feel like, and it's like shoved off in this corner. Like, hey, if you want to do this, like, we tested this game and made it work. So, yeah. And that's kind of this. Big bouncy ball is just a big bouncy ball, and rally mode is this, but you just want to sit there and try to rally. Although, I guess the one thing that is different about this mode, really, is that you can hit the ball outside of the thing a lot easier. So you do have, like, more control over how the ball is, where it's going. It does, you know, compensate a little bit to make sure you are generally doing okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know. It's just a really boring mode compared to the rest of the game. So it's just kind of there. Doesn't really have any value added into it. So yeah. And I guess that's all there really is to say about Mario Tennis. that's it for this week. Hi, Anthony. You're here at the very end. I do not have chat up on screen, but Anthony said hi. So hello. Hello, Anthony. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's really silly. I did not buy Shining Resonance. It's just on the it's just the demo or whatever. I was just gonna see how it went. Press A to be ready. I downloaded a few demos. Toad, that, Happy Birthdays, Disgaea, did that, and Octopath, which I haven't really done anything with Octopath still. And I haven't done anything with these games either, really, other than Odyssey and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But that's that. That's it. We're done. Thanks for coming. And we'll talk next time. Bye.